Hey guys, Marcin here bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are back to talk about once again our boy from the Demon Realm, Glorio. This unit released obviously at the end of 2024 as part of the New Year Dual Dokkan Fest with the Int Goku, and this guy has proven to be a very valuable pickup since his release. He obviously returned on the Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta banner as well, but this guy has just been getting buff after buff with how good his leader skill is, because he is, as we know, right, a go-to. He's a slot 3 floating support unit. You put him in slot 3, he gives a ton of support to the team because it's for 3 turns, so it's the whole time he's off rotation. So double Glorio leads means you have a crazy amount of support. But his leader skill is demonic power 200%, so obviously straight away that's good for a bunch of extreme characters, all the Gohans, that kind of thing. But then his other part of his leader skill is Battle of Wits or Accelerated Battle, HP attack and defense 170, and then Dragon Ball Seekers plus 30%. The Dragon Ball Seekers part isn't really necessarily that important, or it's not that great when looking at sort of the Battle of Wits or Accelerated Battle characters that you would run on his team. But Accelerated Battle includes like the 10th anniversary fusions, the 10th anniversary Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then characters like Janemba, who's not on demonic power, Cell, who's not on demonic power, and of course he has Battle of Wits, so if you're running a superclass sort of setup with him, because he is a superclass unit, but Battle of Wits means he can also have Pycon on his team as well. So there's two sort of different ways I like to run his team just for fun, and obviously this is the one we're running for this video with the extreme units, and we now have Janemba on the team, who can not only provide support but can now be an extra slot 1 unit if we need him to. Or there's the superclass version where you can put on a bunch of Gohans and then have Pycon, so your floating supports are Glorio and Pycon, and then characters like Beast Gohan, who's on that team with the demonic power, he's on Connected Hope, so he's getting the full 60% support from Pycon, whereas obviously Janemba, he's of course very good with his EZA. His extra support is for Corroded Body and Mind or Uncontrollable Power, so on this team if we get him floating, he's providing that extra support to Buhan and the Janemba units as well. So we've got a fairly decent starting rotation here. Let's go ahead and grab these and then drop these orbs down. So how many orbs can we get for Cell? We can get 9 orbs for Cell. And then of course we get the single orb that we need at the end in order to give the buff to the team from Glorio. I mean, we'll probably, I wanted to run the rotations as like 1 Janemba with Buhan and then 1 Janemba with Cell. So we've got these 2 very strong Big Bad Bosses characters. The Janembas of course go to slot 1 tanks, and then Cell and Buhan, crazy slot 2 nuking damage dealers. It's not ideal to have them on the same rotation because their orb changing clashes pretty badly, so keeping them separate is kind of the way to go. And obviously the big thing for the Glorio team is, of course, he has the slightly lower leader skill, because now that we're in the 220 meta, like even with him having a 170 lead, but you know, in the dying sort of days of the 200% lead meta, the fact that he gives so much support. Now once you've got the double Glorios, actually once they've both been on rotation once each, they're essentially giving the full team a 200% leader skill anyway because of how much support. So then when we start throwing on characters like Tech Janemba, who if we get his orbs is giving an extra 60% to certain units as well, or 30% to just the other extreme units in general, then some of these units start to put out the same kind of numbers that we would end up seeing from them on a 200 or even a 220% lead, and some of those units don't even have a 220% lead yet. And of course that's not to forget about the fact that Glorio himself, he's not just the floating support, like he's actually very good as a unit as well, right? Like he puts out a decent bit of damage, he's got that dodge chance. Oh man, are you kidding me? All these orbs and we can't get the can't get 3 type orbs for Janemba. Well, fortunately, Janemba, of course, in the early turns, before he takes too many hits, can be a solid slot 1 unit. So I guess we'll just have to go ahead and let him chill here. He's got 450k start of turn, and then as soon as we pick up these orbs of Glorio, and he's locked into being in slot 3, that's going to go up a little bit already anyway. But yeah, we do get the attack buff from him getting hit at least, which is good. And then, of course, Tech Janemba is infinitely stacking attack. So any extra supers we get are always helpful for when we will eventually transform him into the Tech Super Janemba. And then, yeah, Buhan with the Ghost Kamehameha. And considering we got, what, like 6 orbs, and he's doing a 33 million attack stat on this team, where, because obviously he is Demonic Power, the Boo unit, so he is getting the full 200% lead from Glorio. So, characters that are getting his 200% lead, it is pretty much the equivalent of being on a 220 lead, if not higher, with the buffs from the Glorio support. So who links better? Do you have the exact same links? It's just Big Bad Bosses and Fierce Battle. Okay. So who do I want to leave here with Cell? And who do I want to have with Buhan? I'll probably let's leave the physical Janemba here with Tech Cell. So we'll do that. Not a lot of orbs for Tech Cell and no rainbow orbs. So not the craziest turn here, but obviously we're still kind of getting our rotations set up a little bit. Int Janemba in slot 3 still works and can provide that little bit of support. Obviously against the AoE he still has that extra dodge chance because he hasn't attacked yet, so it doesn't matter whether he's in slot 1 or not. So that comes in quite handy for us there as well. Because that's the thing, it's not necessarily the most optimal setup for each of these units, because some of them are missing links that they would have if we were running them with certain partners. I mean, we could, if we really wanted to, make one of the rotations just be one of the Janembas with Tech Janemba and have Cell floating, but obviously Cell is a solid unit to just keep on rotation, can dish out some good damage, heals on super. Like each individual unit on the team is obviously very good, and then when given that extra support from Glorio and potentially Tech Janemba depending on the rotation, then some of these guys are going to end up looking pretty good, especially the Cell and the Buhan if we get some of the big like orb turns for them. And then even Janemba at the end here, right, with just the 2 links active, 18 million on his attack. Obviously not going to do huge damage, there you go, unless we get the crits, because we've got type disadvantage, but he didn't dodge the super. Oof. Only 270 though, fortunately. It's my biggest complaint with the Int Janemba and why he's kind of dropped down like my tier lists a little bit, is just the fact that the unfortunately when you don't dodge the super in that situation, obviously we were fine. Damn, terrible orbs again. If you don't dodge the super in that situation, it's not so bad because we did live, but against some of the harder hitting bosses it would have just been GG. And it is, of course, not always a common thing now. Harder bosses very often are supering early in the turn, but it's definitely very annoying when you get caught with a slot 3 super like that and it ends the run. But so I think in a lot of these circumstances I think still prefer the physical LR Janemba to Int Janemba, and of course Tech Janemba. I mean, they're different because they start off with a different name, and then when he transforms they can still link and everything, but obviously I would say that Tech Janemba is much better than Int Janemba as well. Very, very good, like, new, strong, easy A. And I mean, look at Buhan. We got, what, 3 or 4 orbs of him only? And he's still doing, like, 27 million attack stat supers here with the support from... Because obviously he is on uncontrollable power, so he's getting 60% support from Janemba, and then obviously the support from having the double Glorio rotation going. So, yeah, this team is very, very good. And Glorio is just going from strength to strength with these new releases. Any new characters that release that are on Accelerated Battle, Battle of Wits or Demonic Power is just another massive buff for his team, considering all the good units that are on there. Like I say, the Superclass version doesn't just have to be the Gohan version for Demonic Power. You've got the 10-year fusions, you've got Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I mean, that in and of itself can be a team, right? Glorio, the 2 10-year fusions, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Pycon. I mean, I guess to be fair, you do want, like, none of those are go-to slot 1 units for the harder events. Like the 10-year fusions, especially in harder hitting events, are not really slot 1 units. But again, with Demonic Power being part of his Leaderskill, you can put Beast on there. With Beast getting all the crazy support from Pycon, like he's still relevant even now, right, being over a year old. So it's interesting the fact that Glorio leads these specific categories, and because he's a support character, so he doesn't need to worry about, like, you know, he's got to be in slot 1, so both rotations need to have Glorio or something. Like, you just put him in slot 3 and float him off, and then he just buffs the whole team. You can build the team and you don't even need to worry about him. Like, even if characters on the team aren't sharing any links with him or anything, Like, it just does not matter because his role is just there to float in slot 3 and provide this big support to everybody on the team. So Glorio is just a fantastic unit. If you didn't get him when he was last available, I mean, I do talk about a lot when it comes to red coins. I think Dokkan Fest LRs are probably the main thing you want to be saving red coins for. But Glorio, the next time he's back on a banner, definitely a worthwhile consideration depending on, you know, what LRs you're missing. If you're missing, like, you know, one of the 10-year fusions, probably want to be saving your red coins for them. But Glorio, definitely very good. Hopefully, I know a lot of people weren't interested in summoning for Daima Vegeta, so hopefully when he comes back again on another banner, it will be a banner that's worth summoning on. Like, for example, if Golden Week is Daima related and we get, like, the Kid Super Saiyan 4 Goku, or the, I say Kid, but like the Mini, or we end up getting the adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, which is the one that I'm really looking forward to. Now, this could be a crazy turn here. In fact, I might even leave you untransformed just for the support, because Buhan's going to be able to get 13 orbs here. So then if we get the orbs for Janemba, which we obviously can, he's then going to get even more support. So let's do that. And then what does that put him up to? So he's at 644k defense. You're at 530 in slot 3, and then you being in slot 3 gives a little bit of extra as well. So yeah, 43 million for Buhan on this team with the support from Janemba, and if it was the Ghost Kamehameha, it would be even higher than that. So yeah, that's pretty good. Additional normal, not quite finishing him off here. I was really hoping we'd get the additional and it would be the Ghost Kamehameha, but I guess Tech Janemba, 17 million should finish him off here. At least that gives him another stack, I guess, ready for when we do want to transform him, probably on the next turn. Now, this is the downside to the team, and annoyingly, I realised I started the event without bringing any Senzu Beans. But, fortunately, what we can do is we can go ahead and use our Rage Mode here with Janemba, and then we can move Glorio to slot 3, so then when the Rage Mode ends, we've changed our rotation despite the locking, which is super, super useful. But yeah, that is the one downside to Glorio and his team, is that Glorio always wants to be in slot 3 to keep up with providing all of that support, and then if he gets locked, then he's going to be in a bad spot. If he gets locked in slot 2, then obviously, like, post-supering, he still has that dodge chance and everything, like, he could still be fine, but he is definitely not a unit that, like, wants to be in slot 1. So this turn was a very good example of, like, a bad turn for the team against a boss that has rotation locking, right, with him getting locked in slot 1. I mean, sometimes you could end up getting lucky and have, like, him get locked in slot 3, or, I guess, to be fair, he never starts the rotation in slot 3. That's the problem with locking, right? Any characters that you float off in slot 3, when they come back around again 3 turns later, they'll be in slot 1. So if you're against a boss that rotation locks, there's obviously that much bigger chance that they're going to get locked in slot 1. Or potentially somebody else gets locked in slot 3, and then you can't put Glorio in slot 3. So the ideal situation, if we're getting the best RNG, is that against the rotation locking boss, the boss just locks whoever the unit in slot 2 is. But as you can see now, with the Rage Mode wearing off, we've used that ability to move our rotation with the Rage Mode, and now our slot 1 unit is still locked in place, but our slot 1 unit is no longer Glorio. It is the character that we actually want to be in slot 1, which is the physical Janemba. So now we can do that. We can get those for you, and then we can just grab that for you. Glorio gives everybody 1 extra key as well, so whenever he needs like 2 key in slot 3, he actually only needs 1, because then he gives everybody the 1 key, including himself, which can be also very helpful when it comes to certain like strategic plays with the orbs, right? Knowing that he actually needs 1 less key than whatever it shows on his key meter when he's in slot 3. So that's obviously very helpful. And then Cell with the 21 million with the crits, big damage. Tanks obviously all the normals for double-digit damage. And then Glorio. This is the Friend Rainbow Glorio. Shout out to Goresh. Starting off with the 10 mil attack stat here. It's crazy just how much he jumps up. Like, if he does multiple supers, you can get turns where he just does a bunch of additional normals, which is always disappointing. But as he does, like, multiple supers throughout the turn, you can really see, like, his attack stat, like, jump up to some pretty high levels. So he's getting locked now. Perfect. There you go. This is what I was talking about. Get your slot 2 unit locked. Boom. That's exactly what we want. So, Super Janemba coming out now. And let's go for... He only needs... Does he need... How many type orbs does he need? He still needs 3. Yeah, okay. So... I don't want to get... There's so many STR... There's only STR and physical orbs on the field. So I guess we'll just get those for now. And then... We can get 7 for Buhan, okay. Not the craziest, but still a solid, like, average turn for Buhan. Nuking style unit getting, like, 7 orbs is kind of, like, an average that we'd want to get. But yeah, take Janemba, taking the hit in slot 1, taking quite a bit of damage there. Because he has an 80% chance to dodge. Bro, he didn't dodge the super, come on. Man. This is why I have the tier. I have an easy A tier list coming out later today, and Tech Janemba does get to a pretty decent spot, but he is not number 1, and annoyingly, that is why. So, man, Tech Janemba letting us down in slot 1, unbelievable. 80% chance to dodge, guard, and then damage reduction like before he attacks, and yeah, unfortunately not cut out for slot 1. But Janemba letting us down is not Glorio's fault. Glorio is an insane unit who continues to get better and better with these new units releasing. Can't wait to see who the Part 2 LR is for this celebration, because depending on some of the like predictions that we've seen flying around, a lot of those characters that potentially are going to be the Part 2 LR will also end up being on his team. So that's certainly going to be interesting to look forward to. We might see a teaser as early as tomorrow morning, because I think last year the unit released on like the 16th, the Part 2 LR, the LR Ginyu. So I guess maybe Monday morning, if it's going to be the 16th this year, it would be Monday morning we see something on like Twitter. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of Glorio. Do you have him? Are you going to get him when he next comes back around? What's your favourite team build to run with him? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.